podcast is BYOT. Bring your own tacos.
Dick swinging.
You're listening to American Slacker Podcast.
We can say fuck.
With Matthew Gertz and Jesse Landers.
I don't care, I've been smoking, this is cool.
That's a decent amount of sausage.
This man needs a doctor!
Yeah, I just hope they're tasty.
What's up with these clowns, man?
Cut the lights and went through people's pockets.
Don't you point that at each other.
Let them smoke a little. You need to step it up to that point. We're not gonna lead with the.
We're not gonna lead with that.
Was Friday the first day of Comic-Con?
No, Friday's
Thursday?
day 2. Thursday's day 1.
Okay, and you went to both of those ones?
Yeah, I was there Thursday and Friday. Today is my day off, and I go back tomorrow for the last day.
What did Thursday and Friday have to offer for you?
Thursday, me and my buddy Kevin there, we dressed as William and Ryan McPoyle from Always Sunny. So we were walking around a convention center filled with thousands of people in our bathrobes and whitey-tighties. And
Nice.
That was an experience. But it was fun. We went to the a Stand Against Evil panel. I don't know if you guys have checked that show out on IFC at all, but it's good fun. And that was cool. But
I haven't seen it myself, but I've heard good things.
I haven't either.
Yeah, it's really good. They played a random episode from season 2, and it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun again. But Thursday was hectic because it's the first day of the con, and every year, just the volume of people that attend every single day just grows and grows and grows. Currently, usually Thursday and Sunday don't sell out. It's Friday and Saturday that are the 2 big days. But I wouldn't be surprised if that changes by next year or the year after, because Thursday just keeps getting crazier and crazier. It used to be more of a relaxed kind of just shopping day for a lot of people, but now it's just jam-packed wall to wall the second you get in there. So that was kind of crazy. Making my way from one end of the show floor to the other took 4 hours. Just going
wow.
row by row, checking out everything, just moving very slowly, and obviously taking our time to peruse and take pictures, but it's just so crowded.
So it's at the Javits Center, right?
Yep.
That's and how big would you say of a venue it is? It's fitting a decent amount of vendors and stuff. It sounds like.
Oh yeah. It's huge. It's absolutely gigantic. Because there's a big main show floor where a lot of the vendors, all of the vendors are, which is just insane because there's just aisles and aisles and aisles.
I just found the map for the show floor, and this is gigantic.
Yeah, and then
It's where they host the annual auto show that they release all the prototypes and shit.
Oh yeah, that's right. I
Okay,
forgot
I'm trying to get an idea between the New York one and I guess San Diego is the only one that would be a little bit bigger. I'm thinking.
Yeah, San Diego, I would believe is bigger. I don't know for a fact. I haven't been, but I believe that's the biggest one at least that we have.
But for the East Coast, New York seems to be where it's at.
Yeah, for sure. But it's huge, and they have multiple different parts of the building are being used for Artist Alley and all of the signature areas and. Just lots of open, area, kind of transition areas where people can gather and take pictures and stuff. It's really crazy. You can go all 4 days and still not make your way to checking out everything that it has to offer. It's insane.
That's insane.
I'd imagine there was a lot of celebrities since it was New York City too, right?
Yeah. I don't really know because I don't really I guess we. Did go.
Oh, you don't go to the meet and greet or any of that?
We did go to the autograph area once to meet up with our buddy who was waiting to see Peter Capaldi, the Last Doctor, Doctor Who.
Andrew Lincoln was there. I'm looking at some of the entertainment guests, and Andrew Lincoln, Rick from The Walking Dead.
Oh, nice.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, I usually only go for the celebrity meet and greets and signings and stuff at horror cons. Comic-Con doesn't they have like a lot of people, but I don't know. Like a lot of the times, those photo opportunities are expensive too. So I'm more to go to Comic Con to
Yeah.
hang out with people that I like seeing at the convention circuit than anything else. It's just like a huge like pop culture circus. And it's just crazy, costumes everywhere, and
Oh yeah.
it's a lot of fun.
That's awesome. It sounds like it's a lot of fun. How many years have you been going?
This is my third year. I started in 2015. That was my first year, and then yeah, this is number 3.
Nice. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. This is wild.
Hopefully I can check out the West Coast one at some point. I went to one in Montreal, but that was a really tiny one.
Yeah, that sounds,
Damn.
Actually, that was fun though. I like small conventions as well.
Yeah.
they're pretty cool.
Oh man, you can meet the kid from The Sixth Sense, Haley Joel Osment.
Oh, he's there.
You need
He's
to-
been doing a lot of
He's been
stuff,
doing a lot of
actually.
stuff recently. Yeah.
He's coming back from just seeing dead people.
Man, yeah, it's crazy. Everybody there, the whole cast of The Walking Dead. Guy that plays Negan, Dwight, Kevin Smith is there. This is nutty. This is I can imagine this is probably one of the biggest Comic Cons for sure, besides the West Coast one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's
I'm thinking it's got to be the biggest East Coast one for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, just speaking of random, like kind of celebrity things. Yesterday, Friday, we went to the Robot Chicken panel,
Sick.
and
cool.
that was the first time that I've ever been, because they didn't have one last year, or the year before they had one, but I only went Saturday and Sunday, and it's usually on Friday. Usually Adult Swim has like a whole like 3-hour like panel block where they do like panels for a few different shows. But this year their presence at New York City Comic Con is a lot more muted. I'm not really sure, what the deal is there. But the Robot Chicken panel was a lot of fun. And I guess every year Macaulay Culkin is on the panel. And he like said like this year that he hasn't been on Robot Chicken in like 5 years, but he just comes out to do the panel every year, like ever since the first year that he did it. And Macaulay Culkin is really fucking funny. I wasn't expecting him to be there, but he was a funny guy, and they had Breckenmeyer and Seth Green, of course, and Matthew Seinrich. It was a lot of fun. They were talking about the new season of Robot Chicken and the Walking Dead special coming out this weekend and everything.
That's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
they're a fun group of people for sure.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I've loved that show for years, man.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
have like all the boxes.
It's a mainstay of
to the
Adult
fourth.
Swim.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Well, I think it's about time to introduce our show.
Oh yeah. Welcome to the realm of American Slacker podcast. As always, I'm Matt.
And I'm Jesse, and today we are joined by our guest, Seth, and we are really appreciative to have you coming on.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, guys. It's it's a pleasure to be here.
Now, Seth is our resident horror buff and Comic-Con recent meme celebrity.
Haha. Yeah, we should explain that a little bit.
Yeah, we'll definitely hop into that. First, I definitely want to give a shout out to our Patreon supporters.
First off, we have our good friend Dave Gunn. Thanks for your support, buddy.
Thank you, Dave.
Second off, we have the guys at Crime Roulette, Kyle, Knoll, and Bradford.
Yeah, they host a great true crime show, Crime Roulette. Go check that out.
And last, we have Aaron W. of the Yes and I Am podcast.
Another great show to check out. Thank you, Aaron. We appreciate the support. And today we're going to be talking with Seth about, all kinds of things. Rick and Morty, him being a meme recently. So we're going to get into some horror movie suggestions and maybe even talk about some of the ridiculous Halloween-based episodes that are on Netflix.
Oh, all of those are on Netflix.
Yeah, those are all
that's
Netflix.
so cool. I want to watch all of it. Probably not.
So we were mentioning before the show, you have quite the collection of horror movies, and specifically VHS horror movies,
Quite the collection.
and VHS in general, I guess. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I mostly horror, and like I have like a lot of other like kind of unassorted things that are other various genres that I don't really pay a whole lot of attention to. I have to organize those as well. But yeah, mostly horror. But yeah. I've been collecting for a few years now.
Nice. And is there a reason that you chose that format specifically?
It just kind of happened, basically. I was, at like my second ever convention in 2014, and it was at this really cool like community center kind of place in Allentown, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And they had like all these different like things that are inside the building, like vendors, like mainstay, like they have little shops, and that were open during the convention. There was one guy that was like basically had like an indoor flea market, and I kind of like stumbled upon a copy of Escape from New York on Blu-ray, or not Blu-ray, but VHS. Wow, I'm fucking. But on VHS, obviously, and it occurred to me that I had never seen the movie before, and I knew I had a VCR at home. Why not watch it on kind of a more authentic format? And I brought that home. I brought that and like a couple other tapes home because it was like 4 for $2. That, like The Abyss, and like 2 comedies or something like that. Oh, and I got a copy of Scream 2. I love that upstairs.
Nice.
But I took those home, and I watched those, and then it was just kind of over from there. It's just nostalgia, I like the artwork. It looks nice on the shelf, but it's also just cool to watch, like, these 80s kind of low-budget horror movies on a kind of an authentically low-budget look format.
Not popping in the shiny-ass disc into it, like a Blu-ray player or a DVD
I've
player.
been kind of leaning that way now. Like, now, I kind of, like, I swing all over the place. Now I've been buying a lot of Blu-rays, and I've been, like, I'll roll, like, a nice big joint, and I'll get really high, and then watch a horror movie on Blu-ray, and it's, like, hoping that it'll be like it's the first time I've ever seen it. And it never works, but it's a lot of fun anyway.
It's always fun to try.
Yeah, no, it's still cool though because they have all these cool limited edition like collectors versions of Blu-rays with extra special features and all this cool stuff. So I've been kind of delving back into that a little bit, but VHS is still kind of my main part of my collection, main focus.
And about how many VHS tapes would you estimate you have?
Looking at like the shelf part of my collection, I would consider, I'd say maybe upwards of like 200. And then there's maybe...
That's like a room of VHS tapes.
It looks like less than it sounds like. Like, I haven't really counted. I might be overestimating a little bit, but every time, usually when I go through and I count, I'm surprised by how much it is, so I usually guess high. And I have like a bunch of other tapes that aren't even like on kind of like that area that I probably do want to be in there. So, and then I have like another like big like kind of like bin of tapes that I have to like sort through that are all like action and comedy and stuff that I got from like the first year I collected before I really started finding anything good. Because it took me a while before I really started finding some spots where I could grab good stuff.
Okay. And I mean, it sounds like you could get, like, depending on where you look, you can get pretty good deals on them, like you were saying before. You got them for a couple of bucks. Like three or four
like that's kind of like the fun of it is like hunting in the wild and trying to find stuff. And when you do find something and it's like the tape you've been looking for a while and it's only 50 cents, it's pretty exciting. But I was starting to like kind of wane off of that because there's a lot of stuff I want to get that I'm never going to find out in the wild, so I've just been like paying a little extra for it on eBay. But I've stopped that recently.
Okay, I was wondering if there's other collectors and
stuff
for
there.
Sure.
Yeah, that's a big part of what's like encouraged me to really get into it. Is there's like a whole community for that on Instagram and Facebook and everything. And I'm sure
Yeah, I was gonna say, are you part of like a club that the swaps?
I mean, I guess technically, yeah. There was like a thing earlier this year where everybody like joined this thing on Instagram, and then this guy like gave everybody random matchups and just made them like a really cool box of stuff, and that was fun. But other than that, I'm not like part of any real. Like I'm in a couple of different groups, and I'm kind of in this tape community on Instagram, even though I've kind of stopped like participating as much because I mean, if we're being honest, that's kind of like a snake pit too. It just always is. No, I mean it's not. It's not really. I'm exaggerating. I'm just being, facetious.
Facebook groups just
But
devolve
well,
over
no,
time.
like the Facebook groups on
That's what it
Facebook are
comes down
fine.
to.
I haven't really like done a whole lot with that. It's just like it's not so much that like the community is a snake pit as it is that like I would rather just buy my tapes and not like do the whole haggling thing. Like it's just not me.
Yeah.
I was just kind of being
Yeah.
facetious. I wanted to make a snake pit reference. Now that we're on that subject, kind of
It's
again.
the word of the
Yeah,
day
it's
for our
fantastic.
listeners. What? So, do you have like a most prized tape? Like, I don't know if that would to you mean most valuable versus like hardest to find that you like finally Indiana
Yeah,
Jones your way to like grabbing like a
one or
tape you're
two,
looking forward to.
Some of the more rarer ones, I guess. Like I have like the original like Thorny and My releases of Burning, which is a really fun like 1981 slasher movie. All the sound and they did in it movies. I'm a big fan of those. I really like Christmas horror movies. I have quite the like collection of Christmas slashers, which is fun.
Have you ever heard of watched a Christmas horror movie that's more around like Black Friday and like the shopping aspect of it? Because I had an idea for one.
I think there might be one, but I've never seen one. That sounds cool.
Okay, cool. Matt, we're gonna get on that.
I recently saw a Thanksgiving horror movie, like kind of, like sort of.
Thanksgiving?
No, I wish. That's like he promised us he was gonna make it real, and then it still hasn't happened.
I know.
But no.
Who is that? Was that Eli Roth?
Yeah, that was Eli Roth that did that trailer. Yeah. So he's been up to other things, but hopefully he still gets around to it eventually. I hope it happens.
Yeah, and if people don't know what we're referring to, it was like a trailer inside of Death Proof and Planet Terror,
Yeah, great.
the double feature that Quentin Tarantino and Eli Roth did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I imagine that like this movie and I guess like just other like kind of holiday horror movies were a lot of inspiration for that. The movie I was talking about was Blood Rage, which is a really cool slasher movie that I would recommend. But it's it kind of happens around Thanksgiving time. It's not like a guy in a pilgrim costume going around, but it's still kind of like a vaguely Thanksgiving theme. It's got like Thanksgiving like
Killer
art on
turkey?
the box art. The box art for it like very much so looks like it would be a poster. Right?
So yeah, that's interesting. A Thanksgiving horror movie. That's the first one I've ever heard of.
That one with the there's one with like this. There's like a Trauma-esque one with the killer turkey.
Yeah, it's Thanksgiving, isn't it?
Oh yeah, that is Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Oh, they actually made that into one?
No, that's like a separate thing. That's just like a coincidence, I think.
Okay.
But yeah, it's like a Trauma-esque one with like this ridiculous like puppet or fucking turkey killing everybody. And then they made a sequel, but they made it Thanksgiving 3, so they would be the first horror series to skip its own sequel. So that was like a whole silly thing. But it's a fun movie. It's good B-movie fun. It's only like an hour.
Now, you chimed in on a post we had put up. We covered a scary movie in a recent episode called Willow Creek, the Bigfoot one.
Yeah.
That, Bobcat did. Now, since you're a retro horror fan, I wanted to see if you had heard of Boggy Creek, because
That
Jesse's never
sounds
heard of
familiar, but I'm not like 100% certain what it is.
it. I was sure you would know of it. The Legend of Boggy Creek. It was like the original
That
Bigfoot horror movie.
I have like heard of that. Yeah, I'm not super familiar, but yeah, that sounds really familiar. Yeah, but yeah, no, yeah, sorry.
Ah, man. I thought for sure you would have seen it.
Oh yeah, I see that here, 1972. Okay, I'll have to watch that.
Yeah,
Like my
Check it out.
first drama.
Check it out, man.
it almost has a 5.
Oh yeah,
on
4.9.
Listen, it's a Bigfoot
The art-
movie.
the art
They
looks-
kill him. They kill him with. Google says 85%.
The artwork looks. It says it's a true story.
It is true,
The
man.
Legend of Boggy Creek.
There's something wrong with Boggy Creek.
They didn't even try to base it.
It's more of the series. There's like Return to Boggy Creek. There's a
Yeah, so
another
there's a reboot just like 7
It's,
years ago. Like in
it's a whole
2010,
saga.
there was a Boggy Creek.
Yeah, it's horrible. It's horrendous. I actually have that on DVD. I'm not gonna lie.
2010 was a
man.
really bad year for remakes.
Actually, we had a lot of people saying that the what was the name? Is it Willow Creek?
Yeah, Willow
Bobcat
Creek.
Goldthwait.
Willow Creek.
That people really enjoyed that as a suggestion. We got
It's a good
lot of
movie.
good feedback on that.
It's
post.
fun. I haven't seen it like
Fucking
since
solid.
it first came out like a while ago. So, but yeah, I really liked it.
Everyone was like the tent scene.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I've got to say I really enjoyed that one. Ugh.
yeah, and I was really surprised when I
What are you
found out
talking
it was directed by Bobcat Goldthwait. That was really
I know, right?
cool to find out.
Yeah.
It was a fun movie.
Now you were trying to do a horror movie every day for the month of October.
Yes.
I'd been following that on your Instagram with all of the box art posts and whatnot.
Yeah, that's been all the I've been watching a lot of Blu-rays that I bought like a while ago and never watched because I've been neglecting for VHS tapes and you know other Blu-rays I've been buying recently and everything, trying to like kind of broaden my collection out more. But yeah, I've been doing that. I think I made it like 3 or 4 nights, and then New York City Comic Con happened, and I missed the last 2, so I'm gonna have to watch a couple movies tonight and try to catch up.
Play a little catch up still counts, you know. Spread it
Yeah,
out
oh, yeah,
the course of the
definitely.
days that were missed.
Oh, yeah.
What's your next couple of horror movies that you're gonna be watching?
I don't know.
Do you have like a lineup, or you just kind of go how you're feeling?
I'm waiting for this copy of The Burning I bought on Blu-ray to come in. I'm gonna watch that as soon as it comes.
Okay.
I've been meaning to watch Donnie Darko again.
Oh, that's.
I wanted to watch that on Friday for October 13th. I thought that would be appropriate, but I don't know if I'm gonna end up doing it. So we'll just have to wait and see. I might watch it before then. I might wait. Maybe I'll watch the theatrical cut and then watch the director's cut. Who knows?
There you go.
I just kind of go with it. I'm thinking since I'm gonna watch like 3 movies tonight, I want to try to like pick a franchise and like watch the first 3 entries in that franchise and
Nice.
kind of like keep the momentum going like that. And then maybe if I have access, if there's more sequels and I have access to them, maybe I'll kind of continue that for the next few days. I just kind of like let it happen.
Do you have like a favorite franchise if you were to pick one?
Oh well, I mean, yeah, Evil Dead, or just really Sam Raimi in general. I love that dude. But yeah, I love the Evil Dead movies, and including his more recent Drag Me to Hell, which is kind of like a soul sister to the Evil Dead franchise. It's kind of has a lot of the same like beats as like
Okay.
Evil Dead movie would. It's a lot of fun. I recommend
That's
it.
one I wanted to watch. I've heard a lot about it. And
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
that
It's got some like
concept's intriguing.
it's got some like kind of like questionable CGI, and it's very much so a 2009 horror movie, but it's a lot of fun if you're just going expecting kind of like a low budget return to like horror movies for Sam Raimi, and you can see a lot of his like Evil Dead influence showing in that movie. So I very much so think that he made that like at a time where he wanted to make more Evil Dead, but he didn't have a story for Evil Dead, or he didn't have the time. So he just kind of made this as, kind of like an outlet for all of that creative energy he had. Which I'm so glad that Ash vs. Evil Dead is a thing now, that franchise is like back on its feet. That's amazing.
Yeah, I've been meaning to watch that.
Yeah, it's so incredible. It really does the franchise justice.
Bruce Campbell's hilarious.
Bruce Campbell, is in the best shape like ever. Maybe not physically, but like as far as in his performance as Ash, he's fucking amazing. He just gets funnier and funnier. He can still throw himself around the room like nobody else can, even though he's like 50, or however old he is. I actually don't know at all. But I highly recommend that too. But Evil Dead, Reanimator, I very much so like kind of like campy, sillier like 80s horror franchises.
Okay.
As I mentioned before,
What do
like
you think of
Christmas
the
slashers.
reboot of the Evil Dead?
I love it. I thought that it was a lot of fun. I just thought that it was very much so in the vein of the originals. Like it's obviously different, but I felt in the sense that it's just kind of like gleeful, gruesome chaos. It totally, I love it. I had absolutely no complaints with it. You know, I think a lot of people went into it expecting the same kind of like retrograde homey feel as the original Evil Dead franchise, or it to be kind of like that charming kind of like low budget. But I think how much of like a studio horror movie it was threw off a lot of people, which is something that I'm guilty of for a lot of movies too. But I loved Evil Dead. That was great. The end of the movie there, like the last 20 minutes or so, where it's like raining blood and the cabin's burning, and it's one of my favorite scenes to come out of a movie in the last like 10 years. It's just so fucking cool.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that.
You get that fantastic shot, that fantastic like sweeping shot of her like chainsawing the thing and the blood spraying everywhere, and it's raining blood and the cabin's burning in the background and the music's swelling. And like right before that, she shoves her stump into the handle of the chainsaw. Like she gives herself the chainsaw hand, like gives a one-liner and then starts chewing this thing with the chainsaw. Amazing, I love it. I saw that movie 3 times opening weekend.
Oh wow!
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Nice. So you definitely enjoyed it.
Yes, yeah, no, there's no question about that. I'm very guilty of not having watched it many times since then, but it is very much so still in my heart.
Nice. You had also I cut you off a little bit before you were saying that you really enjoy the Christmas horror.
Yeah,
slasher films.
I really like holiday horror movies in general, but Christmas ones especially. It's just, I don't know, it's really cool. Like a lot of it's just kind of like an aesthetic thing. Like I just think like the cool like horror sets with like, you know, Christmas lights and all of that kind of like bright, colorful stuff, and the way that it like shines on people's faces and stuff like that looks cool. But it's also just kind of fun because you know, I love Halloween, and you know, but I love Christmas too. It's kind of like a nice like warm type of year. Like, you know, it's very cold, but you know, it's very kind of like homey, and everything's kind of happy and makes you feel good.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool to see that juxtaposed with like blood splattering on the snow and all kinds of crazy stuff like that.
The presents covered in entrails.
And then they're playing like the happy like Christmas music that's like public domain, and people are like being slaughtered, and it's just it's insane. And like I'm a sucker for like a psycho in a Santa suit. I just think it's the funniest fucking thing to take this like totally, because if you like you know, like kids are so like they're so willing to accept things, and they just accept this story of this man that comes into their house at night and eats cookies and leaves presents, and like, you know, like is this ambivalent knowing presents. And it's just so strange to think about it when you get older, and how like almost kind of weird that is. Like not even almost kind of weird, it's definitely weird. So it's kind of fun to take that and make that more of like a literal thing of like a man breaking into your house in the middle of the night wielding an axe. Like, because you could see like if a kid was a little more like of a scared, like cautious kid, he could easily get that picture in his head. So it's kind of fun to like return to that kind of like childlike, like this, you know, innocent figure, you know, that I trusted is coming to kill me with an axe. And it's just good campy fun. It's just ridiculous. Have you guys seen Silent Night Deadly Night?
No, I haven't seen that one.
That's the one that did it for me on the whole like kind of subgenre. That's a fantastic ridiculous like 80s slasher movie about a guy in a Santa suit. It's amazing.
I'm looking at it right now. The poster's terrifying. It's Santa reaching out of the chimney with a
nothing
axe.
terrifying about the movie. It is hilarious.
Oh, okay.
But it's a great time. I watch it every Christmas. So good.
That's hilarious. I didn't realize how many movies there were, like about Santa being just like fucking killer.
Oh yeah, There's
including
Santa.
the one movie, Bill Goldberg as
Yeah,
Santa.
yeah, Santa's Sleigh. Yeah, Bill Goldberg. That's what I was going to bring up.
Yo, Silent Night, Deadly Night 3, you better watch out.
Yeah, I have the whole Silent Night, Deadly Night franchise on VHS. I haven't watched any of the ones other than the first two, but I have to get to it. I'm waiting until December, but I can't wait.
What's Silent Night, Deadly Night 2 called? Does it have a little tagline like "Better watch out" like 3 does?
It says part 2.
Just part 2.
Yeah.
Silent Night, Deadly Night, part 2.
Silent Night, Deadly Night 4. Better not cry.
And then 5 is like the Playmaker, I think.
That's
Or
ridiculous.
something like that. But yeah, the
Yeah,
first one is amazing and hilarious. The second one is 75% footage from the first one. Because it's all flashbacks of the killer from the first one since he gets killed at the end. The way that they did the sequel was now that his brother's in therapy and he's telling all these stories to his therapist because now he's becoming a psycho murderer because of the trauma of his brother killing all of these people. It's this whole thing. But it's like, it's amazing. It's so funny because it's just like a highlight of all the best clips from Silent Night, Deadly Night, plus all of the footage they filmed with this guy to get to be his brother is just like, dude, like, seriously, some of the most ridiculous, wickedly ridiculous, like, B-movie lines I've ever heard in my entire life. Like, it's so fucking great. It's fantastic. I'll have to send you guys some clips at some point. It's so good. But yeah, I haven't watched any other ones.
For Initiation. Fucking, they have the.
Yeah,
why
series, like
why didn't they stick with tagline?
The third one is like kind of connected to the first two because I think it's the guy. I haven't watched it yet, but I read the back of the tape, and I think it's the guy from the second one, the brother. But they did something to him, and he's got like this point, and you can see like half of his brain, and he's like going crazy or something like that. I didn't watch it. It looks crazy. But then it looks like 4 and 5 just take like a completely drastic different turn and like have absolutely nothing to do with the first 3. Which at that point is kind of like not hard to see.
It's kind of like Tremors.
Yeah. I mean that happens with a lot of horror
Tremors,
franchises. Honestly, when you just keep pumping them out after a certain point, you're just kind of like, how do I get myself out of this? All right, well, let's just put the name on a new movie that's still kind of like connected to that name.
And that's a good segue into the movie suggestions. I'm
Nice.
thinking because Halloween 3 or is that what it was? Season
Yes.
of the Witch or something along those lines.
Yeah.
That was sort of an offshoot one, and that was one that you had suggested that we watch and kind of talk about.
So what do you guys think?
It was if I never hear
Oh my god.
the jingle for the Shamrock novel or Shamrock Masks commercial ever again.
Halloween.
Oh my god. Lucky or whatever.
That thing was
Silver
first off so
Shamrock.
creepy, and then they played it like throughout the entire movie.
Over and over and over again.
It's such a fun movie.
It was like a countdown, and I was like, "What's gonna happen? It's
It's
Halloween."
so silly.
Yeah, I gotta say, I hated it because I love the Halloween series, and this one's like a completely different movie. You can't count it as a Halloween part.
Well, yeah. That's
But,
that's my whole thing is that
rewatching
people
it.
kind of let that taint its image. Yeah.
Yeah. Rewatching it, I gotta
I
say,
think it's a lot of fun.
appreciated it more than I thought I would.
Yeah, it's this whole crazy thing. They got like what was it, pieces of Stonehenge in the masks and like all of this crazy stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Tom Atkins is amazing, and it's just
it's
like
so good.
it's so funny. It's just like it's such a fun Halloween movie.
Now he looked super familiar, the main character. I feel like I've seen him in a lot of stuff.
He's been in like Night of the Creeps and like a bunch of other stuff.
He looks like a lot of the typical male '80s actor with that mustache.
True.
Looks
true,
like
true.
Bronson.
Also true. Yeah, I think fucking Reynolds had that stash at one point.
Yeah, of course. So yeah, had a hell of a stash.
But stand up like not as a Halloween, because in the Halloween franchise, it's like this like the same up until this movie, and then they
Well, 'cause
switch
I don't
back.
think-
Yeah, they go back.
And-
I don't
for
think
four,
people,
right?
a lot of people understand that when John Carpenter made Halloween 1, Halloween was to be like an anthology series. Every movie was going to be different. And then because Halloween 1 was
Okay.
so
Yeah.
like wildly successful beyond anyone's dreams, because they're really like there had been like a few like kind of like, you know, proto slasher movies before that, you know, especially when you look at some of the you know, like Italian giallo movies like Bet Your Blood and stuff like that. That's kind of like where all this started, and of course Psycho. But Halloween was like the first one to kind of like introduce this like masked killer, like stalking down babysitters kind of like archetype that we've all like. It's just mysterious figure that just comes from nowhere and returns to nowhere, and you know, takes the lives of as many like young innocent teen girls as he can, like, or in the case of like a Jason Voorhees, just kills those who basically sin, because that's what those movies are. It's just all the people that fuck and do drugs and drink.
Yeah, right.
But Halloween was like kind of the first one to do that. So since it was so successfully popular, they did Halloween 2 because they saw that there was an opportunity to kind of do like an immediate follow-up. But then, you know, from what I understand at least, they tried to return back to that idea of just doing an anthology series. And they did Season of the Witch. And I think that's a really fucking fun movie. But since everyone was so in love, like, with Michael Myers at that point, and like even to this day, still are so in love with Michael Myers, which, like, let's face it, you know, it's easy to see why.
Hell yeah. That's my favorite.
That was Halloween was the movie that got me into horror. Like, as
Me
a
too,
kid
dude.
to begin with, that
Hell
like
yeah.
really like scared the shit out of me and like showed me that like this movie, even though I know it's fictional, like it really can be fucking scary. Like, it's crazy. Yeah, like I think Halloween 3 is a lot of fun, and that's why I've been trying to tell people to rewatch it like a lot this year, because I think a lot of people just have this like kind of bad image of it because they might have seen it when they were younger and they just saw like the first one or the second one, or maybe they saw like one of the ones after it and then they saw it and they were just like, oh, Halloween, and they grabbed it from Blockbuster and it's something completely different.
Oh yeah, that's what
and I
got
could
me.
see where that disappointment can come from.
Yeah.
I went into it like knowing that I didn't see it until, because I didn't really like get into horror until I was in high school, so I was like way behind the game.
Okay.
So I didn't see it until I was already like had been made well aware for years that it was like a ridiculous, corny like offshoot from the Halloween franchise that has nothing to do with Michael. So I mean, that probably is a big part of the reason why I'm able to look at it from that viewpoint. But I think if a lot of people just kind of erase whatever notions they had about it going into it the first time they see it, just watch it as like nothing more than just a silly fun movie to like get drunk or stoned and watch. And you know, it's got that fun song, and I think it's a fun song. And it's got that like great scene where like the pumpkin is like melting the kid's head and all the worms are coming.
Yeah.
It's like totally fucking ridiculous.
That freaked me out a lot. At, like,
Yeah.
seeing the bugs coming out and like the mask that the kid was wearing.
Yeah, that part's pretty great.
Shit, even the first kill's
but
pretty
I like that
ruthless,
movie a lot.
where he like breaks the guy's nose and face, like
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot about
Yeah.
that too.
It's cool.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of cool stuff in this movie.
yeah.
And I think a lot of people also dismiss it a lot because of the fact that it has, I'm actually not entirely sure how much Carpenter film it has, but I know it wasn't written or directed.
No, he
by
just produced it.
Oh, he produced it. Okay, so he was kind of involved,
Yeah,
but
Tommy Lee Wallace directed and wrote.
but at that point he was probably getting ready to work on something else, maybe even The Thing at that point. So he might have that might have just been kind of like an title only. But even if he was kind of like an advisor on it, still it's not really like falls on his shoulders. But that's why a lot of people dismiss it too, because it's not like the Carpenter. They're just like, oh, someone else came in and tried to do something else and it didn't work, so they just went back to Michael, which is what happened. But I think a lot of people should give that movie. I've been defending that movie a lot this season.
I'm glad I watched it.
And people do not like to hear it.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah, I feel it. I was like, when Jesse told me that was one of the movies he recommended, I was like, come on, that movie,
I wasn't aware of the controversy.
That was
I enjoyed it.
It was half of the reason that I suggested it, was because I knew it would be not half of the reason, because I want to bring more awareness to it. I think it's great, but Also because I knew it would be kind of like a controversial pick, and I thought it would be funny to get Jesse's reaction, but instead Jesse gave me no reaction because he didn't know. And then behind the scenes, you gave the reaction to him. That's funny.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
But
that
that's
movie
good.
got
I'm glad it worked.
Originally.
But yeah, no, I'm glad
Myers was
that you guys, kind of had fun with it. It's it's a silly movie. I like it a lot, but obviously, like Halloween and Halloween 2 are like the creme de la creme of the the whole franchise. Those are the movies
Yeah.
that I go
Halloween
to every
H2O?
year. I like H2O. I mean, I like all of them. And 6 has Paul Rudd in it.
That
That's
would
pretty
be
cool.
the most recent one, wouldn't it?
No, Resurrection.
Yeah.
The MTV one was Busta
Resurrection,
Rhymes.
okay.
Yes.
And the reality
Yes.
show about the Michael Myers house.
Yeah, that was. Oh my god.
Damn.
That was the most
Enjoyable
recent
for a
one.
I was
hardcore
aware.
Halloween fan, but it is loud.
Yeah. Oh, I thought it was a lot of fun. Yeah. But totally laughable for sure.
They're bringing it back with Jamie Lee Curtis, from what I heard too.
Yes, yeah. They got Jamie Lee Curtis coming back. John Carpenter is producing. He either said he wants to do the score, or they announced he is doing the score. I don't remember at what stage it is at this point, but more likely than not, he'll be doing the score, which is awesome because we're gonna get that music is a big part of like a movie's atmosphere.
Oh man.
And how, obviously I don't need to tell you that, I don't need to tell anybody that Carpenter's scores are amazing. They're they speak for themselves.
You know what's funny about the Halloween song is it's like a few keys off from a song that like was the first song his dad taught him on piano.
Really?
Yeah,
I did not know that.
Yeah, I remember watching because I was so into Halloween. He was like, they were like, when it came to the music of the film, he was like, shit. And he was like, how about this? And he played it, and it fucking, they loved it, like, immediately.
Wow. Yeah. Well, the whole thing I've been doing recently with like smoking joints and watching movies I haven't seen in a while on Blu-ray instead of like VHS, trying to get like a new perspective on movies. And I've been trying to like be better about not like checking my phone and stuff while I'm watching movies too, because sometimes I'll get distracted. But I've been trying to do that better, but a big part of why I've been doing that is because I was reading an interview with John Carpenter, and he was talking about watching movies and about just like kind of like enjoying movies and taking like a lot of movies just kind of as what they are, and just kind of trying to enjoy yourself along the way. And he was saying that his favorite thing to do is to get really stoned and watch a movie, and that way he was like, it just shuts his brain off and he can just enjoy himself. And he's right, it's a good time. But I mean, and obviously, it was one of my favorite things to do before that too. But that just kind of like incited me to kind of start doing that more, like with this whole horror movie every night this month. So yeah, I had to keep on trucking with that. But yeah, those Halloween is so good. I can't wait for the new one. They got David Gordon Green, Danny McBride there. They're both huge horror fans, and I think they have a lot of love for the franchise. And I'm sure they'll bring something good to the table. I don't think Carpenter would sign off on like a direct continuation of his series, or Jamie Lee Curtis would return for one that's like anything less than what we're waiting for, hopefully. Because, I mean, obviously
right.
Jamie Lee Curtis did a bunch of kind of iffy Halloween movies, including she appeared in Resurrection. But I think after all of this time, why revisit that unless, there's like a reason to. I don't think she wants
True.
another Halloween Resurrection on her record, or maybe she does. I don't know. I'm not.
I don't know. She's done a lot of she's been in a lot of stuff.
Like as I'm talking, I'm
recently,
thinking about it, and I'm realizing like she just did Scream Queens recently, and she likes to just have a lot of fun. So she might be the kind of person to just sign on it just for the fuck of it. Who knows? Either way, it's gonna be fun. It'll be cool to see what they do, how they continue the Halloween franchise, whether or not they do like one of the current like trends, which is ignoring a lot of the sequels. Like maybe they'll just make it a sequel to 1 and 2 and just ignore everything that happened afterwards. Kind of like what Jurassic World did, and like some other movies.
That'd be cool.
Doing.
Like a 30-year gap where he's not.
It very well may happen. We'll just have to wait and see. I'm excited to see where they go with it. I'm just happy that we're getting more Halloween, and it's
Fuck
not
yes.
Rob Zombie, because that wasn't my favorite. Those are good movies, but I don't like them as Halloween.
I don't blame you there. I was gonna say I like Devil's Rejects and I liked House of a Thousand Corpses. You should stick to stuff
See,
like
I
that.
enjoyed how
I
raw
like
it
Rob Zombie
was.
movies, but
Like, it was just like, it was a lot more like brutal, I guess, in that aspect. But it's like Carpenter built up the like hype behind the killings versus where Zombie's just about the gore.
well, and it's like
Yeah, and the brutal
even
violence.
like Halloween, his approach to the first Halloween movie is problematic right from the get-go because a big part of what made the first Halloween so like effective is how little and so different and like new was how little you knew about Michael. Like the only real like source of insight you had to his past was this raving old man. Like that you know you don't
Loomis.
really know anything about other than the fact that he says that he was Michael's fucking therapist as a kid and all this stuff, and he seems to have clout with everybody, you know, and obviously he's someone, but just like it's kind of like this weird nebulous, like even his story is very like patchy, and is told in a very kind of like raving lunatic sort of way. So it's kind of a weird, mysterious dark figure in the way that he just walks everywhere, and he's very the silent, you know, like it's crazy. And then as soon as you like spend the first 20 minutes of the remake like showing his past, like explaining how he got to be the way that he is, then you still have that same effect. Like he can still be just as menacing. If anything, for some people he might be more menacing. You know, for anything, I'm not the one to say what's scary for anybody. Maybe for a lot of people that does make him scarier. Maybe having some type of sort of like really sordid human background does make him more of a foreboding character for some fans. But I don't know. I'm not as much of a fan. I just like after the second half of the movie when they get down to him just like slashing baby scissors, it's kind of fun. And then like the second one was weird. They did all the weird stuff with his sister or whatever, and I don't really remember that one too well. But I'm excited for more
And then Season
like
of the Witch.
kind of Carpenter Halloween movies. Yeah, it was like a weird, yeah.
But yeah, that's not a bad one. People should still go check it out. That's Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. And there we got 2 more suggestions moving along here. Which one do we... I'm thinking The Barn is a good segue here, because it was made in 2016, but it felt like it was from the, like, 80s, I guess, or... Yeah, probably
Yeah,
the 80s.
that's one of my favorite parts about it, is I love movies that can kind of capture that feel, because that was, you know, kind of like the golden age of these, you know, like low-budget, really original kind of like, you know, horror movies that have their built-in mythology of don't go into the cornfield because the scarecrow man will get you and all this crazy stuff. That was really a lot of fun. So I like when like current like slasher movies can kind of like successfully, because a lot of movies do it because it's cheap. If you're making a low-budget movie, then why not make it like look like an 80s movie, because then your low-budgetness is kind of built in. But The Barn is one of the first ones to actually capture like the atmosphere, I think, of like those old like kind of VHS horror movies, and it was released on VHS too, which is fun.
Oh, that's awesome. I have to say the music in The Barn.
Yes.
Grabbed
Again,
Double.
a big part of the atmosphere is just how good and like kind of like accurate the vibe you get from that music is. It really makes you feel like, yeah, like you're watching like a late 80s horror movie. I love that movie, and it's like so centrally Halloweeny too.
Shout out to Rocky
Yeah,
Gray, the music guy from The Barn.
Oh, that's the guy.
I almost wrote his name down when I was watching it, because like as the credits were rolling in the beginning, I was already like, holy fuck.
Every
Who does
time
the
I go
music
to-
for this shit?
Every time I go to Dark Side Records in Poughkeepsie, they have the copy of the soundtrack there, and I haven't bought it yet. And I don't know what's wrong with it.
Damn. That'd be a cool one to pick up.
Yeah,
I have to get on top of it.
Yeah, it was. I have to say, The Barn. I really liked it. It was probably my favorite of the movies that you suggested, just because it was new. I had seen the next one we're gonna talk about, and Halloween 3 was like, it was alright. But I found myself like really like into what was going on in The Barn. It had a cool story. It kind of felt like Detroit Rock City, but like turned to a horror movie.
Yeah, it's that's a fun comparison. I never thought about
like
that.
I was like, oh,
Yeah, no,
to
that's
this concert, you know.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, no, I like that. But that's what I like about it is I like horror movies that have some kind of like music like influence, like it's based around like a concert or trying to get to a concert and has like lots of cool music, and it has that, and it's it's very Halloweeny, and I like the whole built-in legend of knocking on the barn, and there's the Scarecrow Man and the Pumpkin Man and the Miner or whatever, and that whole being the guard dogs of Satan or whatever the fuck the story was.
They need the flesh to give to Satan.
Yeah, and that was just a fun movie, and it's one of those great low-budget horror movies that just has like spent like their entire budget clearly on fantastic special effects, all kinds of really cool practical death kills. It's my favorite stuff. It's so much fun.
The band that played during the Hootenanny or whatever it was they were having.
Yeah.
They're like an actual band too. I thought they were pretty good. The little bit that I heard when they were playing, they're called the Legendary Hucklebucks. They were like hillbilly rock or something.
Yeah.
And they were pretty good. So I really like the music composition in this movie, along with the actual story and the cinematography, making it look like an 80s movie.
Yeah. I think it's very well put together on a lot of different angles. They did the most with what they had. I think they had like a Kickstarter or something like that, like it was a crowdfunded movie too.
Wow.
But it's a lot of fun, and they have all kinds of cool, like they've already done all kinds of cool like tie-in merch, like retro tie-in merch. Like they have the Barn board game. They have a 8-bit The Barn video game that you get a copy of when you buy the DVD. They have like the soundtrack. Obviously, they have like little the old school like kind of like NECA action figures of the different characters and all kinds of stuff. Like I think like plush dolls and stuff. So they really went all in on kind of like recreating this nostalgic feel of all of this kind of like old school merchandise and everything too, which is a lot of fun.
Awesome. It'd be like having a Happy Meal toy of like one of the Pumpkinhead guy or the Miner.
Yeah. That's pretty much what those toys are. I actually bought something like that from New York City Comic Con yesterday. They had a Herbert West from Reanimator, the little like plastic figure guy that came in like the case with the backing card and everything. It's badass. I'm probably gonna put it on my shelf with my tapes. But the barn is great. I think anybody that hasn't seen it that loves like 80s slasher movies or Halloween movies or anything like that should definitely watch it. It's kind of like a fun 80s Halloween special.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. That was a really good one. And that's
Nice.
The Barn, if anyone wants to check that out. Our third suggestion here is one. This is one that I had seen. I want to say a year or two ago, and I really liked it when I saw it. I didn't get a chance to watch it this time around, but Trick or Treat, made in 2007, and it's kind of like I want to say, novel type of movie where it's like it follows different storylines that sort of blend back together.
The term is anthology.
Anthology, there you go.
But yeah, it's like a creep show or something like that would probably be the more or like a Tales from the Dark Side or Tales from the Crypt kind of a fun thing where there's just different kind of like interweaving stories. But it's a lot of fun. I think that's probably like one of the more well known of the three that I picked. A lot of people have seen that one because it was on Netflix and stuff. But it's always good to rewatch around the Halloween time because it's very Halloween.
Oh yeah.
With all the stories kind of revolving, I think they all revolve around Halloween night and they're all just kind of like happening. And crossing over with each other, and there's, you know, twists and turns. It's like watching a comic book. It's a lot of fun.
And that little pumpkin head creature is kind of creepy.
Oh,
Yeah. Sam, I
Ninja.
think Sam Hain is what they called him.
Oh yeah, for Samhain.
Yeah. He's very iconic, and you know they have like a graphic novel, I think, adaptation, and I think they have like another one of like collected stories. And that guy that directed that did another holiday horror movie. He also did Krampus, which is kind of fun.
Oh, okay.
But that was also him. So he's definitely very much so, you know, a big fan of the holiday horror and kind of capturing that vibe, which is something that I enjoy. But Trick or Treat's just another one that kind of perfectly captures that feeling of Halloween night. That's like a mainstay on Halloween for me for the last, like, you know, probably 5 or so years. I do that and like Halloween and maybe like 1 or 2 other movies.
It's definitely a good one. It was a good pick. Matt, you watched it, right?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it, man. It had like the crash aspect of interactions, like, and I really appreciated that. Seeing like the hermit, you know, from both scenes, like where he gets attacked,
Yep.
where he's like, the neighbors, he's just like, "Fuck you, man!" Like,
And then like characters
He's a
from
shitty
other
neighbor.
stories like become parts of other stories. Like, doesn't the serial killer
Yeah.
father like actually ends up getting killed by the werewolf chick and like Anna Paquin, I think,
yeah,
and like that whole thing, and it's just so
Yeah.
much fun. But like it's cool because it's got, you know, it's like it's another one that's just like another fun like Halloween special kind of. It's, you know, it's got its like serious like scary moments, but it never takes itself too seriously. You know, it's fun, it's funny. There's laughs, there's scares, there's blood.
Yeah.
There's all kinds
It's
of
not-
Halloween
it's
set
not-
decorations.
all the
People
time.
are in costumes everywhere. There's all kinds of fun little urban
Yeah.
legend mythology kind of tales built in. It's, you know, it's a good time.
Yeah, I would say it's like a perfect pick for like a Halloween movie.
Yeah, totally.
Like if you don't want to get the shit scared out of you.
Yeah, that's why, even though it wasn't like, you know, as unknown of a movie, I had to put it on there anyway, because, you know, it needs to be mentioned, because it's just so perfect for the holiday. You know, it really captures that vibe well.
Definitely. So that was Trick or Treat. Make sure you check that out along with The Barn and Halloween 3.
And that's
You wanna-
Trick, like apostrophe R, apostrophe Treat. There's also an
Drop
80s
it,
movie called Trick or Treat, like with an O. That's a fun movie too, but that's way different. That's more of like a one of those like heavy metal horror movies. It's kind of like
Oh, okay.
silly
Huh.
and fun, but that's a different movie. But yeah, Trick apostrophe R apostrophe Treat is
like
a
Trick
great
or
movie.
Treat.
Yeah, Trick or Treat. Yeah, like you gotta slur it. But yeah, that one's a lot of fun for sure.
So check out Trick or Treat and The Barn and Halloween 3. Now we found a list on Reddit of from, I don't know how comprehensive it is, but it's got a lot of the Halloween related media on Netflix.
Oh shit, a bunch
got
of this
everything.
left already. Oh damn, the first 2 blocks were gone as of October 1st. Damn, I didn't see all of that
Yeah.
headers. Oh, so there's a time
So-
on this. Okay, so I gotta get on top of this and watch it.
Yeah, I would say that the 19th of October is probably our best bet to go anywhere from there down. But
Yeah.
there's stuff,
the
I
biggest
guess
gap.
stuff's leaving on the 1st of October, and then stuff's leaving throughout the month as it goes along. But there's like a whole bunch that are available for all of October. If you're into watching like the Andy Griffith Show Halloween episode, you know,
Or
cheers,
yeah, Baby Daddy, whatever that is.
Dick Van Dyke. F is for Family. That's a pretty funny show. That's Bill Burr's animated.
Yeah, I liked
Yeah,
that a
it's
lot.
pretty good,
I
yeah.
wasn't expecting to going into it, but it was a lot of fun. Yeah, that's a good show.
Or you can watch Fuller House,
Oh shit, I got goosebumps.
the Full House
God.
reboot.
If you're going down that road, you better watch Power Rangers.
I was gonna say there's
Alright.
Power Rangers, Goosebumps.
Dude, there's like
You can have a real
6
throwback.
Hawaii Five-0 Halloween episodes. 7.
Well, there were a lot of seasons of Hawaii Five-0.
Each one better than the previous.
Even more floral shirts.
We can't go without mentioning Trailer
Of
Park
course.
Boys. They have a good Halloween
Oh,
episode.
nice. Yeah, I was looking at the It's Always Sunny.
Yeah, I was gonna
There's a
mention
lot
those.
of them there.
Yeah, those are the best
And
ones.
then Oh, Twilight Zone. That's like a pretty good Halloween
Oh, real Ghostbusters. That's fun.
time viewing.
Showing all together, yeah.
And then they got like just general shows that you can check out that kind of have a horror supernatural theme to them, like American Horror Story, Bates Motel, Black Mirror. Oof.
Bates Motel is also
really
fantastic.
We talked about that.
If anybody that like psycho wants to watch Bates Motel, I suggest that. It's a lot of fun. I thought they did a really good job.
Have you
with
seen
it.
Black Mirror?
I watched like the first couple episodes of the first season of Black Mirror, and it's fucking nuts.
Oh
It's
man,
so crazy.
You gotta check out the
Oh, yeah.
third season. The third season's where it's at.
Yeah,
Third season's
I'll
where it's at.
definitely
That's
catch
where I
up.
started.
It's a lot of fun.
It's
just
I would
like-
say it's like a technological Twilight
Yeah,
Zone.
totally.
And then we got iZombie. We had talked about that a little bit before. That's an adaptation from a comic
Yeah,
book.
it's fun.
And we said we enjoy it. Twin Peaks, Santa Clarita Diet, Z Nation. There's a bunch of stuff on Netflix to check out for your holiday or Halloween viewing pleasure.
I don't know what The Walking Dead is, but that's on there. Does anybody know what that is? I
Yeah.
don't think I've ever heard of it.
I've been catching up on that.
I gave up on that.
Come on, don't be a hater.
I'm not a hater. I'm just.
What season did you stop watching?
Well, I mean, I stopped watching after the first season, and then I picked back up. I picked back up when season 3 came out. I caught up, and then I watched it like up until the first few episodes of the last season was where I pretty much gave up. But it wasn't really like a quit in defiance kind of thing. It was just kind of like I have so many shows to keep up on, and The Walking Dead like isn't really doing it for me. But like I also found that like most people have very poor opinions of season 2 of The Walking Dead, and since I didn't watch it when it was airing, I binged it on Netflix, and I felt that coming out of it, my opinion of it was stronger than it was if I had watched it week to week, because like that show takes weird like dramatic like lulls. So if you watch it like in a binge, then like you never have to lose that pace. So that's kind of part of why I stopped watching it too, is because that way whenever it comes out on Netflix I can just binge it, and I'm still gonna keep up with it because I love the comics so much, and I love that universe, and I've been watching it for like 5 seasons, so I'm still somewhat invested in the characters. It's just there was so much stuff to watch, I just didn't have time for it.
Yeah, I don't blame you at all. I mean, I fell off with it, and only just like a week or two ago started catching back up. And when you have to do week to week, it's not nearly as like grabbing.
Yeah.
Like it's not pulling you in as much as if you can just binge it and watch like, all right, what happens next? What happens next?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, those cliffhangers are a bitch, especially the end of what was it, season 6?
Yeah,
But that was like a big part of why like I got like upset with the show too, because I thought that the way that they ended that season was, obviously I see why they did it, and like probably from a marketing standpoint it was the right choice, but I kind of felt like it just like killed the momentum. Like they had such killer momentum going in that season, and like that whole episode like was just like one big build up to that moment, and then they finally get that moment, like just suspense, like. And then they got to that moment, and like my heart was like actually racing. And then all of a sudden, like they just like it just cuts to nothing. Like it just ends like without showing the thing that they were going to show. And then I convinced myself that the reason why they were doing it was because when they came back, they would reveal that they were killing somebody else instead of Glenn. And I've been wanting The Walking Dead to kind of like do something brave, like for a while. Because they've just been kind of maintaining the status quo.
I mean, we don't want to ruin anything for you. It is a little more than just Glenn. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I was surprised, because I was going into it with the same idea that you had right there. And then there's a little bit of a twist. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to say what you think happens doesn't happen, but more happens.
Oh, well, I mean, I've seen the episode where Glenn dies, so are you talking about Abraham?
Okay.
Yeah, no, I saw all that. Yeah. No, I forgot about that. So I do have to give credit for that, because that was surprising. But I was hoping, I was kind of like crossing my fingers that they would, and this makes me terrible, but I was crossing my fingers that they would like do something really risky and kill like fucking Daryl or somebody like that. Because what made Glenn's death so like iconic and effective in the comics is that he was the fan favorite character at the time. And whilst everybody loved Glenn on The Walking Dead because Stephen Yen, or I think is his last name, he's a lot of fun. He's awesome. But like Daryl, like I think is really like more the fan favorite character than anybody else. I was hoping that they would kill like Daryl because he's the fan favorite and switch it up and have everybody be shell shocked that way. I was hoping that they would like kill Rick since everybody kind of like views him as being like kind of the protagonist of the show. I thought it would be really like fun and just honestly like dramatic gold if they kill Rick and then all of a sudden the show like turns heel. And now it's about Carl trying to survive and like, you know, kind of fill the roles, the shoes that his father left and keeping the group together and like protecting his sister as well and all of this stuff. So I mean, you know, I was a little disappointed, but I do love Jeffrey Dean Morgan. It's amazing. So I am going to get back into it, but like I said, I'm probably just going to leave it as like a wait until every season goes up on Netflix and then just like binge watch it in a weekend or something.
Yep. Yeah, do it like Breaking Bad or whatever.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, because I think that's a lot of the part why I enjoy like. I think that's a big part of why I enjoy a lot of other shows. A lot of the shows that Netflix puts out too is because I can watch them like all at once. You know,
you don't have time.
If some of these shows were like week to week, I don't know if they would like work as well. But like since I can just like sit down and watch them all in one go and then just kind of like wipe my hands of it, you know, it's a good time.
Right.
It's really nice and convenient. I'm glad that Netflix like has like the blooming like source of original content that it does. Constantly like keep getting, and that they're using all of that budget that they have to give to like more like kind of creative off the wall ideas, and you know like things like Santa cleared the diet and Stranger Things and stuff like that. That's a little kind of more outside of like the big budget Hollywood kind of idea of like what horror
changes the way that people write. I'm sure.
Oh yeah, because from what I understand, Netflix trusts its creators. From what I understand, they're involved like very little. Like they either contact someone to like make something for them, or like they snatch up a development. You know, that's something that someone has in development, and they snatch it up, and then they
don't actually have studios. They don't have like Netflix studios.
No, I know that. Yeah. Well, that's what I mean is that they contact. You know, I think that. They have like worked in conjunction, because they like had like a contract with Adam Sandler where he was to do like 5 movies for them or something. So there is some kind of like processes there for them to like get certain people and have them make content for them.
Contracts.
Yeah, exactly. So you know it works out really well, and like you know Netflix is that's great. Like you know all of the Marvel shows we get from that are really cool. I can't wait for. Punisher. Hopefully they like release the announced date soon. Put it out. It's gonna be really cool. There's a horror movie coming out on Netflix this Friday. The Babysitter, I think. That's supposed to be kind of like a fun like 80s horror movie. Yeah,
she's part of like a satanic cult or something.
Yeah. And they want to like cannibalize the kid or something like that, or like ritualize the kid or something. But I didn't watch a trailer for it, but I know a few people who did on Instagram that posted about it, and they all like seem pretty stoked about it. So I have to check it out for sure.
Nice. There's a lot to look out for.
Oh yeah, especially you know with it being October and everything. Things are constantly being pushed out, re-releases of old movies and new movies being put out, and you know all this stuff. I think there's that movie Happy Death Day is coming out in theaters on Friday, where the chick gets killed by the guy in the creepy mask, and then she like it's like Groundhog's Day. She like keeps reliving it until she can like stop it or something. That looks pretty cool. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff just always being pumped out.
Nice.
That's the best thing about the horror genre is a lot of it. You know, a lot of these ideas can be executed for cheap and are almost celebrated for being. It's a very DIY genre. So there's no end of content because people can just like go out and get a camera and make a shot on video horror flick. That's like half of the VHS clave. Yeah, well, that's true too. Yeah, they don't even have to go out and get a videotape. I could probably, I not even probably, I could definitely take my phone and shoot a video now that would be better quality than if I used like a nicer camera back like when I was in DCC. Like maybe not like one of the professional cameras, but still like, you know, a nicer little DV camera. Like, you know, phones shooting like 4K or, you know, fake 4K or whatever it is now. It's crazy. It's really, the technology is just out of control. I can't.
it opens it up so that more people have access, and then you get more content.
But yeah, exactly, for sure. All you have to do is you just have to have an idea. You have to have, you know, you have to have a concept. You know, you have to have the willingness to sit down and flesh that out, or just go out with a camera and just kind of wing it every day. A lot of people do that too, I'm sure. Or at least I know a lot of older like 80s like cheap like shot and video horror flicks were done like that. They just kind of went day by day like, oh, wouldn't it be kind of gross if we did this and then we did that, and yeah, why not? We'll kind of all loosely tie it together by this one theme, and it'll just be a bunch of like low budget like horror scenes. But that's fun. Yeah, why not? Go out and do it. That's what I say. I say if people want to go out there and make shitty horror movies, go out there and do it. We need them.
Definitely. Well, we gave our audience a lot to check out between all the movies and Netflix shit. Let's give them a little bit more to check out. You want to give them your Instagram or Twitter or anything? You recently blew up on Twitter, getting retweeted by Rick and Morty.
Well, yeah, no, they didn't even retweet me. They posted that photo themselves.
Okay.
So they, like this woman I ran into at the con yesterday, she was with one of the 3 Pickle Ricks. That was definitely like, you know, by far, there was 3 of them. That was by far the like best in quality, and I think that was kind of because he might have like kind of sort of like low key been like the official like Pickle Rick, because he was with her. And she, like, completely went crazy when she saw me, and she saw, like, how much I looked like him and everything. And she took a picture, and then she was, like, telling me about how awesome it was. And then she, like, right before she walked away, she was like, oh, yeah, by the way, you're going to be on the Rick and Morty, like, Instagram story. And I was just like, what?
Nice.
And then I checked, and, like, not only that, but half an hour earlier, they had posted my buddy Kevin, who was doing Hawaiian Rick from the Vindicators 3 episode. When he's, you know, blackout drunk and he's got the Hawaiian shirt and everything in the way. He was doing that, and she had posted him half an hour earlier, so that was cool. I don't know whether or not she ran that account or if she sent it to somebody who did and he posted it. Either way, but now Kevin's actually like on the full page because the story expired, but he's on the page now, which is really cool. So if you go to the Rick and Morty Instagram page, he's right there. It's one of the most recent posts, I think. You can see him with the blue spiky wig and everything. It's so funny. But then later that night, it got posted on Twitter, and my buddy, who is an active Twitter user, posted a screenshot to my Facebook. And by the time like I got to it like an hour later, it had like 13,000 likes and like all these like retweets, and like just like all of these people have seen this like crazy like last second like no budget like, you know, kind of like obscure reference cosplay that I put together.
My father didn't eat me.
It's just so fun. Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and you know, I knew going into it. That's like one of the things that I like to do with cosplays. I like to go for more of the like obscure references and things that are that won't be like extremely popular, but that for the people that it does like jive with, that they'll like be really excited about. Because I know that's my favorite thing about going to these cons is seeing things and just being like, just holy like shit, like I can't believe someone actually put the effort into making this character, like this one-off character that appears in one episode for 2 seconds that I thought I was the only one that thought was hilarious, like into a costume. And it just works out for me that Tommy was so easy and that I happen to bear a striking resemblance to the character. Especially since I don't sleep a whole lot, so I have the natural bags under my eyes, which I found is a big part of the picture looking at it. But yeah, it's just crazy. But yeah, that's how that kind of whole thing. But the interesting thing about that is the Twitter is run by Harmon, Royland, and 2 other writers. So that means that I think she sent them the picture, and one of them posted it. So
Okay.
maybe Dan Harmon or Justin Malone saw that picture. That's kind of cool.
That'd be crazy.
But either way,
I'm sure they have.
Either way, it's at this point. I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure somebody's been like.
It's gotten 30,000.3 likes.
Wow, at this point, yeah. Earlier when I checked, it was at like 26 or something. Wow, that's crazy.
And 4,800, almost 4,900 retweets.
Yep. Wow.
So that's pretty cool to see that your picture's going out there. Want to give? Well, I got your Twitter handle here. It's Seth Pier. I'm gonna mispronounce that. How do you pronounce that?
Pierscore. Like
Pierscore.
Like Pierscore, yeah.
Seth Pierscore. And that's Pierzko.
Yeah,
I'm just bad.
I don't really like use Twitter though. Instagram is more what I do, and that would be Seth Andurzz, SETHANDURZZ. And I post on there all the fucking time. Concert stuff and
you got a bunch of
conventions and
cool,
VHS tapes and
stuff up there right now.
Yeah. And I saved all of the. I posted a lot of stuff to my Instagram story of the Rick and Morty meetup yesterday, and I saved all of those videos to my phone before they expired today. So that way I can, as time goes on, I have a bunch of stuff I took on my phone that's saved to my phone too. That as time goes on, I'll put together little things and put them out because that meetup was like really crazy.
Nice.
But yeah, no, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely. Everyone go check out and follow his Instagram. We got some plugs of our own to do here.
Check out our Facebook. All you got to do is search American Slacker Podcast. You'll find us. Don't forget to check out our Slackers group. It's American Slackers, and we talk about a bunch of cool shit in there, and it's fun. It's like a little rumble pit. It's not a snake pit.
No, not at all. Not a snake pit at all.
It's more like a treehouse with some like badass snacks.
Don't forget to stop by our Instagram where we post all of our promos, all the artwork for these episodes. You'll find all kinds of shit. Again, American Slacker Podcast.
You can also find us on Twitter and Reddit at AMERSLKR Podcast. All of our episodes and bonus episodes and all that content can also be found on YouTube, along with the iTunes store. And please go to the iTunes podcast app and give us a rating. 5 stars or nothing. Tell a friend about the show. That's a good way to spread this love out.
Send us an email, AmericanSlackerPodcast@gmail.com. And don't forget to check out our Spotify playlist that features all the artists that we have on the show. American Slacker Podcast, and you'll be jamming in no time.
Become a Patreon sponsor of the show to get some rewards. We give out shout-outs like you heard at the beginning of the show. You can also ask us a question. We'll add you to our friends list on Xbox. And there's a bunch of bonus content on Patreon as well. So patreon.com/American Slacker Podcast. And also any animators out there, we're still looking to get in touch with someone to work on some animations that we need for our Patreon. So get at us about that. Send us an email.
Check out our personal Instagrams and Snapchats and gamer tags. You can find me on Instagram at MWG Media, and my Snapchat and gamer tag are Matty G from HP.
And you can find me on all of those things at Landers the Plane. Seth, thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate having you.
And until next time, that's it.
There you go.